We'll start with basic introduction to Excel, and we talk about some contents in this workbook. That is yesterday's workbook. We talk about data type in Excel, data consistency, database building, basic sorting, custom sorting. We skip sorting with formula yesterday. Then we talk about sorting with custom list. Conditional formatting also work like sorting with colors. So we talk about how to sort across row when you have your data in row form. We talk about filtering data, advanced filtering, removing duplicates, test a column, grouping data, subtotals in Excel, and named range. I think we stopped here yesterday. So, and today, we're going to continue with data validation today. We're going to continue with data validation today, and thereafter we move to number formatting, conditional format, how to use table, printing, and workbook protection. Then, if time permits us, we're going to start the next workbook, which is logical functions, cell reference, relative reference, absolute, and mixed reference. The three are under the same topic. Then we talk about some statistical functions. I think we start from logical function. Yeah, we start from logical functions here first before we move to reference. And I think we'll start from referencing before we treat logical functions. Okay. So, any question regarding yesterday's class before we move on to today's class? Do you have any question regarding yesterday's class? So, for those of us who are just joining and you don't have the workbook, check the group workbook. Okay, the workbook I will share with you now. So you can also request for the group link after the class. So after the class, I will share the group link. If you want to join the WhatsApp group, I will share the link with us so that we can also benefit from our free training. Sometimes we hold free training often, so we can also benefit from that. Okay, I think I've responded. Is there any other person who has messaged me? Okay, I think I've responded to the WhatsApp message already. Okay. So today, if there's no question, I think we can start today's class straight away. And yesterday recording has been shared in our various group also. Check all the WhatsApp groups or whichever WhatsApp group you belong to. You will see the recording there. I'm talking about BMC WhatsApp group, not other public WhatsApp group, please. So I'm talking about our own WhatsApp group. That's where you can find the recordings. And remember, today's class is the second class in our 10 weeks training. We are holding our data analysis training, which is going to hold for the next 10 weeks. And it's our culture to always have the first two classes as a free class. So the first two classes that we have are always free. So that's the reason why we are making this open to everyone. And whoever wants to still join the main class to try to make payment, if you can make payment between now and next Saturday, you can still join the main class. Then you follow along with us in the journey of data analysis, where we are going to learn Microsoft Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL, and Python. And we're going to learn critical thinking and problem solving, or we say thinking like an analyst, how to think like an analyst. And as a plus to the class, we're going to learn how to use AI, especially ChatGPT or other AI, for data analysis, how it can help us in data analysis. And after the class, we have a project. About 10 projects will be given out, because when you talk about data analysis, it's not like the classroom experience where you just hold certificate. It's about what you can do. Data analysis is about what you can do, how you can turn data into story, how you can make data explain, how you can explain data and bring out key information from a wide range of data. So how far can you interact with that? We are going to give out like 8 different projects for our participants to practice and demonstrate, to demonstrate their skill. And by the time they learn and practice with up to like 8 different projects, they are not going to be a newbie again at that point, which means that at that point, they will have mastered at least the basics of using all those tools. Unlike you just learn and go. When you learn and you don't practice, nobody's going to see you. And you will not have confidence that you've learned, because data come in different forms and data come from different places. So which means that whatever we learn in class is not enough for you to stand that I'm now a data analyst. You need to practice with different data, try to interpret various data sets before you can say, okay, now I'm ready for entry job. So my advice is that those who are joining the class, please, let's try as much as possible to dedicate at least an hour a day. Let's dedicate at least 1 hour a day to watch the recording and practice whatever we learn, so that whatever we learn in every week, 6 hours class, you will cover it before the next class. If you can do that, I can bet you are going to enjoy the whole class. But if you pile up anything, even if you miss the class, please try to watch the class. If you have any question, you can come to the group and ask questions in the group. We'll be there to respond to all your queries. Please, let's try and do that. If you miss class, try to catch up before the next class. If you can do that, then you are good to go. But if you miss class and you forget the class, you forget about the class, it can be dangerous, because it will not be easy for you. By the time you have 6 hours, 4 hours Saturday, 2 hours Sunday, and you have like 2 weeks, that is, you are talking of about almost 12 hours class missing. And you know, when you miss 12 hours class, it means a lot. It means a lot. At the same time, whenever we are starting a new class, try to be at the beginning class, the first class. The day we are starting our Power BI, endeavor to participate. The day we are starting our SQL, please try to be there. The first day is very, very important for any of the courses, because if you join in the middle, it will just be like a story. It just look like you are lost in between the classes. So that is my honest advice. And if you want to join the class, the cost of the training for the 10 weeks is just 80,000 naira. Just 80,000 naira for the class. That is for 10 weeks. Saturday, Sundays. Saturday 10 to 2 and Sunday like 2 to 4 for the next 10 weeks. And if there's going to be any change in the time, we also communicate within the group. It's going to be agreed upon as to what is more convenient for every one of us. Thank you. Am I good to go now? Am I good to go? Any question? If there's no question, just type yes. That means I'm good to go. I'm good to go. Just type yes. Am I good to go? Yes or no? If you have any question, just type yes. Okay, good. Now, today we're going to start with data validation. When we talk about data validation, yesterday we talked about integrity of data. Data validation is one of the ways by which we can keep integrity of the data in a data set. For example, let's look at this data set we have here. We have product. And under product, what we want to be here is text. Under price, what we want here is currency. And sometimes we have dates in the data set. Let's say we have date in data set, and let's say we have states where the person is coming from, and all those ones. So now, how do we validate our data in such a way that somebody will not mistakenly put something that doesn't belong into the group in the group? So how do we at least control the limit the kind of error that we can experience in the group? So now, how do we validate? Let's click on data tab. I think you read the stories later. You can read the story later. I'm not going to read the story line by line. Under data validation, we have data tools. Yesterday we talked about text to column, and we talked about removing duplicates. So today we're going to talk about data validation. Just over around it under data tools, you're going to see data validation here. Click on it and you see different options there. So we have different options. By default, any value, any data type can enter into a cell by default. But you can determine, you can say, okay, no, I don't want oil and text, I want something else. So when you want something else, how do we go about it? Now let's quickly see here. Here, we want our text. Only text should be entered into this group. Product, we only want text here. So I can select only one, or I can select all the range. If it's a column, you can select a column completely. But in this case, you're going to select just this small range. And then we go to data validation, click on data validation here. Then under the any value, we want text. Because okay, the text length. The text length should be minimum of 3 and maximum of 10. That is, let's say in the case of name, we are validating name of staff. We can say, okay, the name should not be more than 30. Any name that you are writing should not be, length should be 20, length should be 30. But in this case, we're going to use just 10 as an example. Okay, let's click OK. By that, this cell is already validated. Let me quickly enter something into any of this cell that is not up to 3. Now, you can see that it's throwing out error. This value doesn't match the data validation restricted defined for this cell. It goes back to banana. But if I put, sorry, now let me put something that is 6 digits here. Apples. I put S. You can see that it's accepted. Now, if I increase this to more than 10 characters, I think it's still okay. It's more than 10 now. Can you see that now we can no longer do the same thing again? So that is how validation works. So quickly, let me do another one now before you practice. Let's practice this together now. Second thing we're going to do now is look at it, everyone. Look at this now. I'm going to select under the price. Let's do it together. Select price. Select price. Have you done that? Now, go to data validation. Click on data validation. Now, under validation, scroll down and pick whole number. Okay, decimal. Pick decimal. Decimal. And the minimum should be 0. Maximum should be 1. Minimum should be 0. Maximum should be 1. Then click OK. Are you done? Now, try to enter something into the cell. Anything that is greater than 1, 1.5. Can you see that it's not accepting it again? If you got it, type yes in the chat box. If you get it, ready. If you try it and it worked for you, type yes in the chat box. Select the price again. Go to data validation. Under data tool, under data tab, you see validation there. Select decimal. Under decimal, select between minimum 0 and maximum 1. So you have different options here that you can also use. Not between, equals to. All these options are here that you can use, but we are only working with what? Between now only. Between 0 and 1 is our area of interest. Then click OK. If you get it, type yes in the chat box. Yes. Once again, if you get it, type yes in the chat box. If you get it, type yes in the chat box. Yes, yes, good. I'm waiting for one more yes. So once I have 3 yes, I will move on. Wait for one more yes. Any question? If your own is not yes, okay, great. I have many yeses now. Good. That is how to validate cell. Anything that is not in that group cannot be entered into the group. Let's talk about date. We want a date that is within 2024 into this group. 2024 dates into this group. What do? I select the range, go to my data tab, click on data validation, then I will select date here. What is the date? I want the date between what? 1/1/2024 to 31/12/2024, and I hit OK. So if somebody mistakenly type a date that is last year, 12/3/24, will be accepted. 12/3/23 will not be accepted. Can you see now? That is how validation is done. I'm still on it. On Nemashaun, I'm still going to add 1 or 2 more examples. Just follow the way we are doing the class. I've given you opportunity to practice with one, just to get you understand the method. So other things will not be able to practice everything step by step, but I will be giving you time to practice. Now, the next thing we're going to practice now is this state. This time around, I want to show you how to create drop-down list. How to create a drop-down list in Excel. the format of the date is going to be formatted based on your system. Your system date will be the format. But if you want to change the format, you can always go ahead and use the format option. We are going to get to the format option today. Now, like I said, we want to talk about drop-down list. So I'm going to put like 3 states or 5 states here. Osun, Kwara, Edo, Kano, and Rivers into this group. Now we have 5 states here. Now we want people who are filling the form to fill in their state of origin or their state of residence. But we don't want somebody to mistakenly type maybe small or and make the whole thing some capital, some small. We want everything to look alike and well formatted. What do? We validate the cells. So I'm clicking on this cell now. Then I will go to data tab, click on data validation, and here I'm going to pick lists. Now I will pick what? List. When I pick list, I can say, okay, the source of the list is here. Your list can be anywhere, but I just put it very close so that we can see it. Then you click OK. So whoever is typing name of state here can use the option here to pick the name. Can pick the name from here or can type the name. Osun. Can see now. But if somebody mistakenly type OSU only and click enter, you see that it will not accept that. So you can see that is the way by which we can reduce the error that can be put in or inputted into our databases. Can you try that now? Create a list, just a small list, and try to use the list to create a validation. And while we are doing, okay, let me give you 1 more minute to do that. So I want to now round up on data validation now. Okay, now when you open your data validation, look at it. And one thing about data validation is that when somebody copy and paste, it will erase your validation. Imagine now, I want to put Osu here, it doesn't accept that. If I copy something from here, Control C, and I paste on this, it will accept it. Copy and paste will clear your data validation. Please note that. Then let's go back to data validation now. I'm going back to the validation we have here under the state. Then there are some options that we have here. We have some validations here. There are some options here. Under this place, we have input message. Sometimes you want to guide the user. When you want to guide the user as to what and what he or she should do with that cell, you use this input message. You say, okay, let's say state of residence. Please type the full name of the state of your residence and click OK. See what happens. When somebody click on the end of the cell, it will show state of residence. Please type the full name of the state of your what? Residence. So you can only pick from the state, or so it is the way by which you can guide the users about your data validation. Is that clear? The other thing that we have there is error message. Under error alert, we have 3 options there: stop, warning, and information. Information is just giving you some information about the mistake there. But the stop, by default, the stop will not allow you to put anything that is error there. When you put any date that is not that date, it will not accept it from you. That is a stop option. But what about the warning option? Warning option is there to warn you, but if you insist, it will accept your mistake for you. Let's try warning option now. Also, when you have the stop option, you can put something here. Stop, please stop, and the state or the date is outside the current year 2024, and hit OK. When somebody make a mistake, it will prompt the person and tell the person what the problem is. Please stop. The date is outside the current year 2024. But as per the warning is used just to draw your attention. I say, okay, warning. You can say, okay, please check. Please check. The date should not be, or the date seems to be outside this. Click OK. Let's see the difference between the two now. I'm going to enter another date again, 12/5/26, and I hit enter. Now it's saying, now I have another option. The date seems to be what? Outside the current year 24. It's asking me,